What's going on, gamers? It's Fox2, and today we're doing a little bit of throwback action, and we're playing Black Ops 1 Domination on the map Kowloon. I typically hate this map. I really don't care for it that much. Way too many rooms, way too many corners for people to just hide in. Upstairs, downstairs, side paths, underpasses, ladders. It's too much, too many camping spots. I don't really care for it, but I ended up with a really great gameplay on this one. I go 43-4, get dogs using the Galil silencer. The gameplay speaks for itself, in my opinion. I play a little bit campy at some spots, just trying to make sure that I get those dogs. But other than that, I'm doing a little bit of work. So, that being said, I'm not going to talk too much about the gameplay because we've all heard plenty of commentaries about Black Ops 1 since it's a couple years old now, but the game is still amazing. The game is still a ton of fun to play. Having a lot of fun playing it. I've gone back a couple times, played this, played some zombies. Really, really enjoying it. But, like I said, that's not what we're going to be talking about today. Today, I want to talk about the esports community, Call of Duty esports. Now, this was something that, it's been around for a while. Esports, the whole idea of professional video gaming has been around for quite a while, but the Call of Duty esports was never really that popular. And when I say that popular, I don't mean to offend anyone for starters, but I don't mean that it wasn't, there weren't competitors or anything like that, because there's always been a competitive scene. What I'm saying is it wasn't mainstream popular, meaning there weren't people telling their friends or asking their friends like, hey, are you going to watch, the COD Championships on Twitch, or are you going to watch Nadeshot's Twitch, or are you going to watch JCap, or are you going to watch Complexity or whoever. It wasn't as popular until Black Ops 2 came in and introduced League play, introduced the Codcaster mode, to where when you watch these live events, it became very, very viewer-friendly, I guess would be the way to put it. It felt more like you were watching ESPN SportsCenter than just sitting through watching one person's perspective of an entire game of Hardpoint or Search and Destroy or Cap the Flag or whatever the game mode is. It's always more interesting to see the highlights of the game, where the action is taking place versus just watching one point of view for the entire game, because there's going to be lulls in the action. It doesn't matter if you're the best player in the world. You're not going to be in constant combat and winning gunfights the entire time. Like, that's just not going to happen, especially at the world-class competitive level. That is just, there's no way that that's going to happen. So Black Ops 2 comes along and the esports scene starts blowing up. It starts becoming very popular. The amount that they're of the prizes are going way up in the dollar values versus previous years, and the general public is becoming far more accepting of spending time and watching these events. So fast forward a year from Black Ops 2, and currently now we're at the Ghosts thing. Ghosts, a little bit slower gameplay. They got rid of Cap the Flag. They introduced Blitz. They got rid of Hardpoint and put Domination in. I'm not a fan, really, of watching Ghosts gameplays. I'm not a huge fan of it. It just doesn't feel as exciting as a spectator. But that aside, what I really want to touch on is all of the roster changes that have been happening this season, and I think it's due largely in part to the fact that Ghosts plays so much differently than really any other Call of Duty. The mechanics of it, the feel of it is just different. It's not a bad game, it's just a very, very different game. That being said, there's been all these roster changes, and I would consider myself a true fan of competitive esports, of watching the MLG tournaments, watching the UMG tournaments, keeping up with the results of these tournaments, who's on what team, all these things like that. And I'm going to be perfectly honest with you, at this point, it's becoming a little bit too much of a chore to even have a team that you're a fan of, because so many the teams are only made up of 4 people for starters, and secondly, you've got so many people changing in and out and going to this team and then going back to their original team. It makes it basically impossible to really be a true through and through fan of any one team unless you have some kind of financial investment in the team. For example, Team Envy, I think T Martin is a part owner or a partner with their team, some kind of financial investor in the team. He has some kind of investment in that organization. So obviously, regardless of who they pick up, he's always going to be rooting for Envy. And that's cool. I get that. That's fine. But as an average fan, it's hard to become, especially for new fans. It's almost impossible for a new fan to come into the esports scene right now and develop a real love for any one of the teams, because you might watch your first tournament and see a team that, wow, they're really great. I can't wait to watch them play again. And then by the second tournament that you watch, it's a completely different team. None of the players that you came to know in that first tournament are even there. They're all gone. And what this really means is that these teams are just destroying their brand names. Especially the big team of the most well-known team name of OpTic. They have their team brand, their branding has, in my opinion, just absolutely plummeted in value. I'll always be a fan of their organization. They've done a lot for the Call of Duty scene as a whole, but I think that this year, there have been a lot of mistakes made within that organization. A lot of things could have been done better. I think that one potential answer for this is that organization owners or managers, the people that are putting up the money for these people, for these players to travel to the tournaments, for their hotel, for their airfare, jerseys, equipment, all these things. They should really look into getting players on contract for at least one season. You should hold your 4-man squad for at least 1 year, one playing season. That way fans can get involved, because ultimately that's where the revenue is going to be generated. The revenue is going to come from ads on the streams. It's going to come from ticket sales at the live event. It's going to come from merchandising sales, because you have a favorite team and you want to buy their jersey. You want to buy a poster. You want to buy a video game at the event so that they can sign it. Any of those things. That's where the dollars are created in esports. That's where people are going to make money, and ultimately that's not going to happen if you can't create a brand name that is stable and fans can really get behind for an extended period of time. Win or lose. I'm a Cincinnati Bengals fan, and we lose all the time. I'm just saying. If you like the video, click the like button. As always, have a great day.